And since Rashad is here now, a question to kick off right here, Rashad. Just your initial thoughts. I mean, you talked about Phil's wrestling a lot before this. It seemed like your wrestling really came into play in this fight, your hands. I mean, can you just talk to us about how you felt about the performance and the decision that you got?
I felt good about the performance. You know, you always want to do better, and I strive to do better. There's a couple missed opportunities that I wish that I would have capitalized on a little bit more, but you know, you get better from those things. Phil Davis, he did a good job to keep me from capitalizing on those positions. But you know, when you have me in your mind, you want to finish a fight a certain way and it doesn't happen, it's kind of disappointing.
Rashad, you mentioned, of course, the Jon Jones things. We know it's next for you. In a way, is this kind of the way you just want to put this behind you? I mean, this has been such a big rivalry. Are you glad to finally have it in front of you? It seems like you're healthy. You said you're ready. I mean, is that the biggest part of this, just finally being able to put that rivalry to bed?
Yeah, you know, I definitely want to put the rivalry to bed, and more importantly, get a chance to get my belt back. You know, I feel like I can beat Jon Jones. I see areas in this game where I can capitalize on, and I know it's going to be a good fight. You know, we're very familiar with each other. Jon Jones has one thing that over other opponents that he doesn't have over me, and we faced each other before many times, so I'm not really too worried about the mystique of Jon Jones, because I know at Jon Jones' core. I remember Jon Jones when he used to come up to me and be like, hey man, what is it like when everybody takes pictures with you? So I see Jon Jones a little bit differently than everybody else sees Jon Jones.
With that said, you know, when you look at Phil, you said a lot before the fight about how, you know, he's still young in the sport, and, you know, maybe he wasn't ready for that moment. Now that you faced him for 5 rounds, how bright of a future do you feel like Phil has in MMA?
Phil has a really bright future in MMA. You know, he doesn't quit, and that's half the game right there. You know, it's easy to fold when the pressure's on, and he doesn't quit, and you know, he has a winner mentality. You know, he tries different things and he wants to get better, and he showed a lot of improvement from when he fought Nog. So, you know, I think Phil has a bright future. It's just a matter of just picking the right fights for him and just getting back on a winning streak. It feels good, you know, and I hope this is the last time that you guys have to say I'm the #1 contender. You know, after this point, after I fight Jon Jones, I hope I'll be able to get, you know, I'm pretty sure I'll get that belt and I won't have to deal with that anymore and wait in line to fight Jon again. But it felt like it was, you know, a big monkey on my back. I've been waiting to fight for a belt for a long time, and now that I get this opportunity, it kind of feels really good and it feels surreal. But at the same time, I'm not going to make fighting for the belt too much of a big deal. You know, I have a 5-round fight in front of me, and the opponent is Jon Jones, and that's you know, all the big deal I'm going to make about it. That's about it.
Rashad, tell us about the last time you were in Atlanta. You knocked out Chuck Liddell. Now you'd ideally be fighting Jon Jones out in Atlanta. Tell us about the semblance about going back to Atlanta, and is a similar prediction and a similar outcome in your future for that fight?
I hope so. You know, I'm sure I'll be going into this fight, and Jon Jones will be the big favorite, and it'll be just like the stage will be set for, once again, another surprising outcome. Yeah, it will be. It'll be very mental. This is a big fight, you know. You know, me and Jon, we're pretty familiar with each other, and we have that history with each other. You know, we both don't really care too much for each other at the same time. So it's going to be a lot of things that are said. It's going to be a lot of feelings that are brought back up to the surface. So it's going to be a very mental fight. And you know, he said something to me a while ago, you know, when we got into it. He told me that he wants to show everybody that that I'm all hype and he's going to destroy me. And that right there is the biggest motivation in the world. And for him saying I'm going to make him pay.
Just 2 other questions real quickly. You talked about the sessions. Can you tell us how they went? I mean, where do you feel you had an advantage over him, and did he, in any area of the game, have an advantage over you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it went back and forth some days. You know, he was a really good training partner, so I really like training with Jon. You know, he went for it, and I can tell even back when he first came to the gym, and he really wasn't, you know, so good on the ground and stuff like that. He had that fighter spirit in him and stuff. So, you know, there was times where I got him, there was times where he got me. You know, he's always been very creative on his feet, so there's times where he edged me with the stand-up, and there's times where I edged him with the ground, and it went back and forth. But, you know, it's nothing different than in any other gym. You know, sometimes you go to the gym and you get beat by a guy that weighs 170 pounds, and it just happens to be that just how it goes sometimes. You know, in a training gym, you know, you don't really keep score, you just work hard.
And then lastly, you know, isn't it fair to say that what happened in the past would be irrelevant just because he seems to have improved so much in the last year?
Yeah, I mean, and to some respects that's true, but at the same time, you know, I think there's fundamental things that stay the same, you know, and there's things that I feel that have stayed the same about Jon. And when I get in there and I face him, I'm sure I'll be able to feel the familiarity and all those things that I think that can't change in a person.
Question for Rashad. We know the emotional element that's going to play into the fight with Jon Jones, but my question is this: everyone knows the Jacksons thing going on, but what about the friends you have there? Because every time I talk to Keith Jardine, he always says, you know, Rashad is still my brother. The guys at Jackson, a lot of the team at Jackson's still considers you part of the family. How tough is that going to be on you in this position of, you know, facing him? It's not going to be hard to fight Jon, but putting, you know, all those guys are going to be kind of torn here.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I hate to even put those guys in that position, you know. You know, sometimes, you know, it's been kind of a riff, and they let me know, like, yo, you know what, you know, I kind of feel like it's a little problem because I got loyalty to you at the same time on the team with Jon. So it sucks, you know, that they even have to be that way. But, you know, the stage was set for it to happen, and I feel bad everybody else that gets caught in the collateral damage.